I'd like to welcome everybody here today. I am so excited to be here. I'm executive consultant Shelley. We can be here. Phenomenal training that we're going to be giving to you today by a number of folks that just came back from the 5-star trip. Okay? Okay, thank you. You have executive consultant Shalom Lamb. Founding executive consultant Phil Moser. And the person very dear and near to my heart, executive consultant Julius Ween. Truly, we're here today to provide you with the nuggets and the tips to help you to take your business to the next level. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Yeah. All right, without further ado, I have the pleasure, the awesome honor of introducing our very first speaker here tonight. This gentleman, we go way back, way back. I mean, to the first day that I joined Ambit, because you know what? He's my sponsor. And he brought me into this business, and he and my husband, and he said, you know, Julius and Shelley, I just have to tell you guys, if you just plan to do one thing, to be teachable and coachable, I will teach you everything that I know. And you know what? He was a man of his word, because that's what he did. He moved all the way from Dallas, Texas to Maryland, and he taught us everything that we know. And he has a booming business in every Ambit area in this market, and he is a founding executive consultant in this business. Help me welcome to the front of the room and stand to your feet, founding executive consultant Phil Moser.
That's awesome. So you know what? Can I do without the mic if y'all don't mind? Yeah. All right, I appreciate it. What's that? My voice carries, right? Well, my name is Phil Moser. I'm a founding executive consultant with Ambit Energy. It doesn't really mean anything, I got to tell you something, except for one thing. It means that I got involved in this business in the beginning before there was any of this. And so to me, this October will make 6 years that I do this. And I've been doing it full time for close to 3 years now. And it's pretty interesting, I've got to tell you. But I have the honor, and to me, number one, want to thank Shalom and his wonderful wife and the team, for putting all this together. And I just know that we are extremely excited. But I'm going to get right into the meat and potatoes of this, because to me, and just please understand that this afternoon is for you. How many of y'all came here to find out how to build your Ambit business big? Yeah. All right? Folks, it's absolutely amazing, what you're going to have information-wise, because I believe you're going to walk out of here this afternoon knowing beyond a reasonable doubt what you need to know in order to build your business. Now, the number one thing that I tell people is, and you've heard this before, is what is your why? Why are you doing this? Please understand that every single journey that you and I begin in life has to be determined by the end result that we're looking for. Do y'all agree with me? And before I go any further, in case y'all are wondering why I have one shoe and one tennis shoe on, I'm not trying to do an Ambit fashion statement. Just want y'all to understand. My son and I, a month ago, had a major motorcycle accident. Both of us on our separate bikes got hit by a car. And I ended up with a fractured foot, and him a lot worse, but we're doing better, thank you. And so in case you all are wondering, I just figured I'd offset it by putting an ostrich shoe on one side, and maybe y'all would focus on the nice fancy shoe and not just the gray shoe, right? And in case you wonder why I'm hobbling. But the first thing you need to know when you start your business journey in Ambit is, why are you doing this? What is your why, your dream, or your goals? What is it that you want? And the second thing is, what are you willing to do to achieve victory? Does that make sense? And I think what I find the most interesting is sitting down with a lot of individuals, and I always ask them, because it is one of the most important aspects, because people go, well, Phil, I'm excited. And I go, why? Why are you excited? And you know what they tell me, Joanne? They go, well, Phil, because it's deregulation of energy. I go, oh, okay. Because the timing is great. And then they tell me it's Jerry Thompson and it's Chris Chambliss and all this other stuff that is really irrelevant. And people go, well, Phil, how is it irrelevant? Because this is about you. Why are you here today on a Sunday while the average person is at home? Is it because it's the deregulation of energy? But because the timing is so amazing? Because you met Jerry Thompson Jr. and he just so awed you that you decided to come out on a Sunday to come to one of these Ambit meetings? Is that why you guys are here?
No.
I can't hear you.
No.
No. You're here because somehow, as you looked at this business, okay, something about it compelled you and told you, this can get me and my family the financial freedom that we so desire. Do y'all agree with me?
Yes.
Let's be real. At the end of the day, we're all here for the same reason. Yes or yes?
Yes.
And what is that reason? You guys like that, right? Yes or yes, right? I'm simple. Okay? And the reason is to achieve financial freedom. How many of y'all got involved in Ambit to get into a social club? Right? Y'all understand? You have that already. You have your peers and your friends. So the first thing you need to do is clearly define what you want out of Ambit, and that sets the foundation for everything else you do from that point on. And the second thing is, what are you willing to do, okay, to achieve victory? Now, how many of y'all are familiar with that picture? Now, this is where you guys get to find out that I'm a little bit older because I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay? I know. It's great, isn't it? I'm telling you, God has a sense of humor. Okay? You know what these are, right? To keep men humble. All right? You know, because we look ourselves in the mirror and we go, oh, look how good I look. And God smiles and he goes, not so much. Put some glasses on for me. Can't see that. But here's the thing. How many of y'all have ever heard the story of Hernando Cortez, Admiral Hernando Cortez? Okay? You've heard the burn your ships before. Have y'all heard the story? Okay, well let me share it with you if you haven't. Hernando Cortez was an admiral from Spain, and make a long story short, he sailed to Cuba, and from there, the key was when they embarked on their journey with 11 different ships, and the year was, and you looked at the factoids, it's 1519. Had 11 ships. And please understand, in those days, me doing that journey from Spain to Cuba and then going to the Yucatan Peninsula was something pretty arduous. Y'all agree with me? Okay? It took months. Months. But here's what's very interesting. Okay? Why they were doing it is because the Aztec Indians, as you and I well know, for years had accumulated massive riches. And for over 600 years, conqueror after conqueror after conqueror had tried to go to Mexico, to the Yucatan Peninsula, to try to get the fabled city of gold. And it wasn't fabled. These people, the Aztecs, were extremely rich, right? So here's what happens. They end up getting to the Yucatan Peninsula, and during this time, everybody is sick and tired of going, you know what, I'm done. We're over. We want to go back home. This is not worth it. You know, I'm tired of being at sea. It's over. Everybody's just whining and complaining. Sound familiar? Any of y'all have some of those on your team? They said no. Right? Right? And here's what he said. He gets all the captains together, and they get there, and he goes, here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to burn all the ships. And all the captains are looking at him and going, are you crazy? Why are we going to burn the ships? And here's the statement that he made. Either we are going to finish what we started and conquer and win, or we're going to die and stay here. And the only way we're going home by burning our ships is we're going home on their ships. And my question is to you folks, is what are you willing to do? Are you willing to burn your ships? What's holding you back from victory in Ambit? Okay? What's holding you back? What does that mean to you? Because I wanted to share that with you because it means to you what you need to do and get rid of the excuses, okay, that is keeping you from having success in Ambit. Because please understand, I'm no better than anybody else here, just been at it longer. Do you all understand that? That's it. And so the last thing is this, okay? Overcome your fears and perceived limitations. How many of y'all are familiar with this picture? This is Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius. Okay? You guys might have seen him, all right? And I've got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to go through this quick. But you guys might have seen him, but I want you guys to see in the picture. You guys see anything different there? Oscar is a double bilateral amputee. Since 7 years of age, his family had to make the decision to cut his legs off because of a progressive disease, the disease that he had. But here's what's really interesting. Let me tell you about the mindset that Oscar has. Okay? He is the only man in the world that has won the 100-meter gold in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 400-meter in the Paralympics. And what he did is 2 years ago embarked on a journey, and I want you guys to Google it when you go home and see the videos on this. He embarked on a journey that everybody told him that he could not do, and become the first bilateral, or the first double amputee to qualify to represent his country in these Olympics. And he actually, and not only did he qualify while everybody was saying, oh, are you crazy? You're a bilateral amputee. Not only did he qualify, okay, but he started breaking world records. He holds the world record for a bilateral in the Paralympics. It's unbelievable. You guys got to see this. But here's what's really interesting. Out of all of this, why am I sharing this with you? Is because at the end of the day, you know what happened? Okay? He placed 8th in the world. And you know what's happening now? Everybody's saying, oh my God, he had an unfair advantage. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I mean, look at that picture to the right. And so the question I have to you is, back again, is, what are your fears and perceived limitations? Here's what I will close with and challenge you with. My God, and I was talking with Julius the other day, which you guys are going to get to meet next. And I said, you know what I find very interesting? I believe, to me, a mental limitation is graver than a physical one.
Yes.
Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Because I believe a lot of our self-imposed limitations are not physical ones, they're up here. Do y'all agree with me? Okay? Because the body is such an amazing thing that look what this guy can do. 8th in the world, okay? As a double amputee. But one thing that he did is he got it in his mind. And so all I want you guys to understand is this. You know, today, make a decision of the things that you're willing to get rid of that are your mental mind blocks. Burn your ships. Stop making excuses. Make the decision that, look, if a gentleman like Oscar, as a double amputee, can dream big enough and have the right mindset in order to become the 8th fastest running man, okay, in the world, again, and please understand, you see who he's running to on the right-hand side? These are the top able-bodied athletes in the world. Do you guys understand that? Is that crazy? All right? And here's the last question, and I'm done. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to win? Because, folks, if you walk out of here today with the information, clearly defining your dream, your goals, your why, willing to burn your ships, willing to overcome your fears and self-imposed limitations, and are willing to do whatever it takes, I will tell you that it's not a matter of when you will become successful in Ambit, okay, or if you will become successful in Ambit, it's a matter of when. So with that, I get to introduce our next presenter. And this gentleman, it's very interesting because the story there is, and actually I get to tell the story this time instead of him saying it. Him and his lovely wife came to a meeting to tell their friend why they should not embarrass themselves and get involved in this pyramid thing. I love it. You know what? It's amazing, right? So please understand, they got invited and they said, no, 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 you know what? I'm not interested, but I'm going to go to a meeting to do you a favor so you don't embarrass yourself with all our friends. And I'm going to shoot holes in this whole thing and tell you why you shouldn't get in. Okay, well, let me tell you, 18 months later, they are the first executive consultants in Maryland. Okay, they went regional consultant in 2 weeks. All right, senior consultant in less than 2 months, and are just have the fastest growing team in Maryland. I have the honor and pleasure of saying that they are my personal friends. Personally sponsored EC and my EC code. Pretty interesting stuff, right? Doesn't happen often. But to cover the next part of this, which is going over the comp plan, is my good friend, executive consultant from Maryland, Julius Weems.
New Jersey. Come on, wake up, everybody. Look, I get a chance to talk to you about money. Who wants to know about money? Come on, guys. Who wants to know about the money? Let's talk. I'm the smart guy in the room. Okay? Because my friend who brought this to me initially, I told him, you know, my background is engineering. I've been an engineer, owned a firm for the last 10 years, and started designing video games for Disney, loved it. And a friend of mine came to me and he says, I want you to look at something because we played golf, and he says, we never talked about how to make additional income together. I said, okay. I said, I'm open. I'm always open to look at something. But he asked me to go to a meeting. Sure, I go to business meetings all the time. But he said it was 7:30 at night. I said, wait a minute. I said, why are we doing a meeting at 7:30 at night? I work, you can come to my office during the day. Oh no, I want to take you to a meeting. And I said to him, I said, you're not talking about one of those meetings, are you? I said, I'm sorry, I don't do that. I said, I'm on the firm and engineering firm. I don't go to those kind of meetings. And I know you're talking about that thing, network marketing, right? You want me to, could you see me in a suit pushing soap powders? It just doesn't work. Bottom line is this, is that I could not stand direct sales and network marketing. Because every time I would go to or hear about one of the meetings, you would go to the meeting, people would jump around like they're crazy, tell me about all this money that you can make, but everybody looked broke. and guys, just be honest, you mind, can I just be open with you guys? I mean, I just want to be honest with you. And so I said to him, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested. He told me energy, so what? Will you be my customer? No. and you know, I was direct with him. We've been friends for a long time. And so I went to the meeting, and I actually went home and told Shelly, and Shelly laughed at me because Shelly's the CFO for our company. Shelly's like, look, return on investment, he must be joking, even asking us to look at that. So we sat in our home office, but Al called me back and says, well, research it because I've invested in some companies. I know how to research and assess a company. I said, sure, Al, I'll go look at that thing. And it was week of October 26, 2010. And I researched Ambit Energy. I researched Jerry Thompson Jr. I looked at every single thing you could imagine on the company. And, you know, but I called a friend of mine on Capitol Hill. I said, look, what is this deregulation thing? You know, and he's a lobbyist, and he sends to me a document. He says, look, I don't know what you're looking at, but here's the thing. Deregulation of electricity and natural gas is going to drive our economy for the next 10 to 15 years. And I said, are you serious? This is that important? He says, yeah, it's that important. He says, understand right now where our economy is, energy, electricity and natural gas, and anything that surrounds it will be the one financial generator in our economy. And so at the time, me and Shelly, we worked, our clients are the federal government, the FDA, Department of Defense, and at the time, you guys may remember, the government couldn't pass a budget for a couple of weeks. Well, the thing is that when they couldn't pass a budget, they couldn't pay us. And we had a whole bunch of people that we still had to pay. A lot of our expensive programmers and project managers, and we ended up having to furlough 14 people because they couldn't pass the budget. We're a small company. So therefore, you know, we're looking at this thing, and so I said, Shell, you know, let's look at all the companies. So I looked at everybody. I did a comparative analysis against everybody. Ambit Energy, North American Power, Ignite. And all I looked for was profitability in their models. Because let me explain something to all of you. If you're in business, profitability should matter. Okay? Not the excitement. I understand the Thompson family story, all the different stories. But I looked at all the owners and everything else. And there was one company that popped up a week later in a magazine I used to look at every year called Inc. 500. Now I looked at Inc. 500 for engineering firms that I was going to partner with to go after additional government work. But a direct sales company a friend of mine sent to me was showing up as #1 in the country. And it blew my mind. And you talk about timing. You know, we went to the meeting. I dragged Shelly to the meeting. I'll never forget it. We sat on the back row with our arms folded, waiting for these people to start jumping around the room. So Shelly looks at me. She says, as soon as they start jumping around the room, we'll leave. I said, okay. And They say, you know, look, we welcome all our guests from out of town. It's 100 people in the room. 80% of the people were from Dallas, Texas, in Maryland in October. Then there was another 10% of people that were from New York and New Jersey, well, not even New Jersey yet. But New York, and I said, why are these people coming to Maryland about this business? And here's what I'm going to share with you is that night we saw the slide that said $26,000 in residual income. I've never made residual income in my life. And Shelley said, if this is halfway true, maybe we should look at this. So I'm going to show you how we get paid. I did not understand the compensation plan. All the marketing consultants, raise your hand. Here's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to show you guys something that you've never seen, even all the senior consultants. I'm going to share with you something you don't understand, you've never seen in our comp plan today. But here's the thing. For a marketing consultant, your only focus right now is to get 20 customers and 6 consultants to get out of your MC code in the next 30 days. I'm going to share a lot of information with you. I don't want you to get caught up on this information. As a marketing consultant, the least profitable place to be in Ambit Energy is a marketing consultant. Okay? So, I don't want to hurt any feelings. We're talking about profitability. Who wants to, can we talk business today? So I got a bunch of CEOs here. Okay? And as CEOs, the thing is this. You got to understand how much you need to know. You don't need to understand the comp plan to make a lot of money in Ambit. But when you do, it blows your mind. And here's what I'm going to share with you. So let's walk through our comp plan. You made your investment. You made the choice to get involved. Congratulations. Ambit says when you actually have 5 customer points, Ambit gives you 2. You actually add yourself as your first customer, 2 more customers, Ambit sends you your first Jumpstart bonus. We have right now a promotional bonus, right? You add 2 additional customers with a total of 7 customer points, you get $150. Then you get an additional 3 customers, you trigger your Jumpstart 2, total of 10 customer points. Everybody's seen this before, right? Yeah. Now here's the part that I find out that sometimes as sponsors we don't tell our downline. Did you guys know there were 6 Jumpstart bonuses? Because we don't talk about it a lot. You don't see it in the presentation. Why is that? Because we sponsor people, and once we make that first check off of them, we sometimes leave them by the wayside. Because remember, the sponsor only gets paid off the first Jumpstart, right? It's very important that you make sure your people know that they can trigger 6 Jumpstart bonuses. It's a total of 30 customer points to get that $400 back. So we don't show this in the presentation, but I want you to understand it. It's very important because this is the foundation of our model. And then let's go to the next step. Remember, your person gets free energy. What happens when a consultant gets free energy?
Never leaves.
Never leaves. It has success. See, if I'm sponsoring you, what happens? You trigger your first bonus, you get your first 5 customers, you get a check from Ambit, right? Then you get free energy, you got a couple more checks from Ambit. Now that consultant has success, and guess what? Now they can go duplicate it because they've done it. You cannot teach what you haven't done. So here's the key, is that this is the foundation of making sure your new consultant understands enough to have success now that they can focus on going regional. Because we want them to go regional, right? And so then, let's go to the next part here, because now we go out and we sponsor a person, and they do the same thing. When they get their 5 customer points, we get $100, right? Personally sponsored, and we do it again. And then it's another $100. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to show you a little model. What happens if, excuse me, what's your name, ma'am?
Victoria.
Victoria. So I sponsor Victoria. And what is your name?
Rosemary.
Rosemary. So I sponsor Victoria. Victoria sponsors Rosemary. As a marketing consultant, when Rosemary gets her 5 customer points, what do I get? Nothing. On my marketing consultant code, I sponsor Victoria. When she gets her 5 customer points, I get $100. But when she sponsors Rosemary, I don't get anything from that. But what if I go out and I sponsor all 6? How much do I get then from each one? $600. Maximizing their compensation plan for profitability. But I also just promoted, didn't I? So what should I focus on as a new consultant? Get my customers, get my free energy, and then go sponsor 6 people for maximum profitability. Then let's go a step further, and so that everybody everybody understands is that we're in a franchise-like system. And so what the system says is that as I promote through the system and go regional, I just make more money. Everybody's seen this before. That's clear. You go senior, you just make more money. But what if I sponsor 6 personal at each level? What's the company requirement? 2. But if I sponsor 6, does that increase profitability a little bit? Because now I'm making 155 off of 6 people and 235 off of 6 people. Somebody asked me, how do I make $2,000 in Ambit Energy? Sponsor 6 people on your MC code is $900 with the double bonus. And then go do the same thing on your RC code. You made a little bit over $2,000. You can do it in 30 to 60 days. Okay? And so, I know this is a lot, so I don't want you guys to panic. I'm just walking you down a path, okay? And so then I want to jump here because this is the slide that amazed me in Ambit Energy, and I just want you all to understand this. And so, I'm a marketing consultant. Do you guys know that the $26,000 slide is only showing you your marketing consultant code? Yes. Does everybody understand that? The $26,000 is you as a marketing consultant, because people say, I don't understand the amount of money that exists on your MC code. Okay, so here's the thing, is that as a marketing consultant, I'm going to run you through a quick model. And you're an MC. Let me just make sure everybody kind of gets this here. I'm an MC, and I'm going to have somebody help me out. Can I get a volunteer? So what's your first name again? Mark. So Mark, I'm an MC, and I just sponsored Mark. And Mark is a stand up with me. Mark, I sponsored you. So I sponsored Mark. And so, I'm actually, and I'm going to just jump through, so I want to really get to this part right here. So, I'm just going to jump through. I'm not where I need to be. Okay. All right, Mark, sit down. Okay. So the first thing I want you to understand is that when you go regional consultant, right, what happens? When you go regional, Ambit gives you a leadership bonus, the extra quarter. Everybody understand what I'm talking about, the quarter?
Yeah.
Once you go to senior, you get an extra 50 cents. And then you get, as an executive, 75 cents. I'm testing you guys now. You should know this. Here's the thing. Is it shows 6 levels. When I'm a regional, I get an extra quarter on my first 6 levels. So the 5 cents now turns into 30 cents. Did everybody know that? Yeah. Then, after that, the 10 cents turns into 35 down to $1.75. Now, here's the power of a quarter. Now, once you get on level 7, okay, you're actually going to make $10,000 in quarters on your regional consultant code. See, the power of the quarter is one thing I started understanding is that, so then if I go to level 8 in quarters, because you only, on level 7, you only make quarters, right? Now on level 8, you're making $35,000 in quarters. How about level 9? I'm not going to go too far. I don't want to mess you guys up for the rest of the day. How about $107,000 in quarters?
You're assuming the same growth.
Assuming, correct.
Each level.
Correct.
Okay.
Growth across each level. Smart guys in the audience, I love them. No, but you're right. You're right. So here's the thing, and I must have jumped past my big superstar slides.
Is that in addition to your residual as well, or does that replace your residual?
That is your residual. That's your leadership bonus, CLB.
But do you get your customer residual as well, or that?
Yes.
Yes.
So you get both?
Yes. So here's the part. Now, anybody know the word coded out?
No.
Does it know what that means? Let Mark is menu now, Mark. All right, so I'm an MC, and Mark's the MC. Okay? Now, Mark goes RC. Okay? What happens at some point, and I'll make it a lot easier, for all my regionals, so you understand, let's just say I'm an RC and Mark's an RC. So now when I sponsor somebody, okay, Mark puts somebody in the business, I get $55 to infinity. But when Mark goes RC, Mark's actually now going to get the bonus off of everybody he brings in, and I'm coded out. Okay? That means Mark's going to now get the money for everybody with his RC code moving forward. Okay? Now, here's what people miss. And I want everybody to understand this. What happens when I'm an RC, okay, and Mark promotes, okay, and actually, let me think about it. I'm an MC, and Mark promotes, and I'm just not a mover. I'm sitting on the sideline, and Mark just keeps running. He's like, Julius, look, you're not doing anything. I'm going to keep building. So now what happens is that even though I'm an MC and he's an RC, the $26,000 I make on Mark on every single level that Mark goes up. Let me explain that to you. I'm an MC. Mark starts as the MC, okay? Mark does this. I'm going to make 6 levels on Mark when he's an MC. Mark goes RC. I'm going to make $26,000 on Mark because Ambit pays me 6 levels. So now I get $26,000 on him, and I'm still an MC. Mark goes SC. I'm still an MC. I'm going to make $26,000 on Mark's SC code. In addition, I'm still MC. Mark is promoted to EC. I'm going to make another $26,000 on Mark's EC code. Here's the thing that I want you guys to understand. Mark now goes NC. He just got his yellow jacket. And I still love him. But I'm an MC. And Ambit says I'm going to pay you 6 levels. It's in the comp plan. Look at the getting paid document. Ambit says I'm going to pay you 6 levels. No matter what. So now I made another $26,000 off of him as an MC. Am I upset? And now I'm going to start growing my Ambit business. And so here's the thing for you guys to understand, is that we always talk about, I'm going to hold my superstar back. I don't want to put my superstar on my MC code. What if I put my superstar on my MC code and he goes to NC? How messed up am I? Because we hold people back, and by the time we hold them back, the momentum goes away. How much money did I lose because I wanted to hold my superstar back?
100,000.
A little bit more than that.
I'm on it.
So here's the thing, that because we don't understand the compensation plan, guys, I'm not a network marketer, but I understand profitability. See, here's the thing. We get into this idea of, let me hold this person. But you just cut off a whole bunch of money because you didn't understand how you got paid. When you leave here today, you're going to know how you got paid, how you get paid in Ambit. People have a lot of questions about this. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're the MC, you're the slow poke, and you hit the butt. Okay? So now you decide to start the business and work your way up from 2 a regional, 2 a senior, 2 executive. Kenny beat you there, though. Do you get the credit for bringing Kenny up as
I'm going to say he can beat you anywhere, but he's still sponsored by you.
So then technically, you brought him to executive.
Well, no, we'll go over. I don't go too deep because this is, if you're not, this will clearly, I don't want to throw off my MCs and RCs in the room today. This is just an education tool.
So you're saying 2 things. It sounds like you're saying that you don't code out of the residual income.
No, Ambit commits to 6 levels deep.
And are you also saying that as somebody below you promotes to a new level, that level 6 level?
Ambit's going to pay you 6 levels deep anyway, period. Your worst case in Ambit Energy is 6 levels deep. And I'm not going to get into questions because I'm not going to hold up the schedule, but I will stand around and walk this line.
So you're saying that starts with 6 levels deep?
This starts at your MC level, and Ambit's going to pay you 6 levels deep no matter what.
Can I say something 1 second?
See, everybody see what I mean? See what happens? See what happens?
10 seconds. I've told my consultants that if Ambit did not have any promotions whatsoever, there was no such thing as regional, senior, executive, then Ambit Energy is well worth doing this business.
It's well worth it if we had no levels. You think? Here's the part that, and so guys, just understand that when we talk about this business, if you understand this, how you build changes. Okay, so just, and look, I'm going to stay around because I know you guys have tons of questions about this. When I saw this for the first time, it blew me away. For MCs, for my MCs in the room, you're focused to get 20 customers and get 6 consultants and get out of your MC code. Get 6 consultants. Don't hold anybody back. Don't have this buddy of yours on the side. I'm going to hold up for my RC code because it's $26,000 on that MC code. But you want to grow because we're talking about maximum profitability, right? MC code is profitable, but maximum profitability, 20 customers, 6 people wide, personal, and move on. So, okay, for my MCs, raise your hand. Wave your hand. MCs, what's your whole goal? What do you got to do? Okay? All right, speed over strategy. Okay? That's your focus. Okay, don't get caught up in all the stuff. Okay? Because right now as an MC, get out of your MC code. Real quick, as I close out, because I'm over my time, one is that the majority of direct sales companies pay 60% of the initial cost to consultants. It's totally unheard of to pay 70 to 80%. Well, Ambit Energy pays 103% back of that $429, and here's how we do it. When someone actually when someone actually triggers, the sponsor gets $100, the MC Jumpstart is $100, the RC payout is $55, SC, EC, and NC $440 on a $429 investment. Are we with a great company or what?
Yes.
Yes. People always ask me, Julius, how does Ambit pay double and triple? Because the 80-20 rule is real. 80% of people will get into this business and not do anything. They won't trigger a bonus. Where does all that money go? I don't get mad. People don't trigger anymore. I love them alone. But I don't get mad because guess what? Ambit Energy says, look, we're going to run double and triple. We're going to run 150% because the pool, if we bring in about 10,000 consultants every quarter. That number is probably up right now. But for the 8,000 people that don't do anything, it creates a pool of $3.4 million every quarter. That's how Ambit can pay double and triple. See, the thing is that we have an incredible company. Jerry Thompson Jr. and Chris Chambliss know what they're doing. They have this model financially, if you get it, being successful at Ambit is inevitable. It's inevitable. Just stay. Here's the thing, is that, okay, let's just run Steve Thompson, Brian McClure, 5 years, 6 years in the business. Yeah, $500,000 a month in 6 years in a company? Really? So for you and I, Ambit's about to launch new states. But just pure activity over time guarantees financial success in this company. That's why I'm doing Ambit. 10 years in engineering as my own company, 10 years sitting behind a desk, dealing with employees and everything else. You're telling me Ambit Energy sends me a residual check every month for doing nothing? We kind of laugh on the 15th, like, is this real? Can this really happen? And it can. And so understand, guys, that Ambit's system works in incredible ways. And to close out, I just want to do this, is that how much money, right now I think, all right, we'll be, let me do this. Right now, the interest on the savings account, let's just say it's 1%. That's high. Okay? To get $500 a month, how much money do you need? 600,000? $600,000 in the bank to get a check every month. Okay? Every single month. You get $1,000 a month, you need what? 1.2. You think about that. You need $1.2 million in the bank sitting. So Ambit sends a whole bunch of money. Let's say $1,000 a month in residual. And I got to tell you, when our residual hit 1,000 the first time, I said, I felt like I kind of, I felt like it was wrong. Gosh. People pay the electricity bill, and you're telling me that Ambit's going to put a deposit in my account as if I had $1.2 million in the bank every month? I want you to think about that. What happens when the number is $10,000 a month? Understand what you have. Because once you understand what you have and you have a big enough why, you'll never have to work again. Don't let somebody come to you and tell you why your business isn't going to work. See, the thing is that I love talking to smart people, and my team knows I have PhDs on my team, attorneys, lawyers, very successful businessmen, and I love it. I love the smart guy. Because I say to him, so you're telling me, and I mean very successful multi-millionaires, so you're telling me that if I could show you a franchise-like model that could produce residual dollars month after month without you having to take care of a workforce, that you don't have 5 minutes to look at that. And so, and I pause because I'm not here to convince anybody. I don't need people to join my business. Stop begging people to join you. So this company's going to hit $1 billion, and we'll be on Wall Street Journal, we'll be all over the place. And then, at that point, understand, guys, everybody is not going to get this right now, but they will get it. But by the time they get it, and we're in 50 states, and you're all making $300,000 plus a month, be okay with where we're at right now, and go and grow your business. No, I don't have time for excuses now. With your team, give your team the tools to be successful, but don't try to pull them along. Because if you understand the compensation plan, it didn't say, well, sit and wait and watch. Learn how to love people alone, and with that, guys, the compensation plan is incredible. Congratulations, you just went to Julius' School of Compensation. And have a great day. I don't know how to introduce, I forgot. You know, I get excited, and guys, I got to tell you, this person, is somebody that is just incredible to me because we met at work. We both were consulting for a company that was supporting NASA, and when I saw her, I was looking for a way to ask her on a date, and in her office she had a plaque that said nominee for National Engineer of the Year. And I said, wow, smart. Thank you. And so, we became best friends, and we call it geeking because we talk about technology and stuff, and we geeked a lot. And so that's what we did for a year, just became great friends. And then I said, look, we've been friends all this time, might as well marry me. But I got to tell you, she was very uncomfortable about Ambit Energy because she had been in large corporations all her career. And this was so different for her. This was a whole nother realm. And we decided, though, after working 12 to 15 hours a day, not seeing each other for 10 years, married, having a son, literally we drive and we support clients all day and all night. I mean, we're the couple that sits on the bed with 2 laptops. That was us. But now we can sit and have a cup of coffee in the morning, and it's great. Because we know Ambit Energy every single month is going to put a deposit in our account that's going to pay all our bills. And so to talk to you about something that's very important and dear to me and that I care about, the next part of this is about team etiquette and playing team. Because if you don't know how to play team, I got to tell you, it's about service. And a big part of this is working with each and every person. Shelly Weems.
My voice doesn't resonate like the men's voices, I start doing that so I don't have to always use this microphone. But thank you, everyone, for that gracious applause. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about our story, my story. Actually, Julius has probably told the whole thing, but I'm going to tell you from my perspective. And when we first took a look at this business, I'm an executive. I've been in the information technology business for over 20 years. And for the last 10 years of that, I've been so blessed to be in business with my wonderful husband. And I have an amazing, amazing 17-year-old son who plays 3 sports. He's very, very talented. So as you can imagine, when our friend Al Jackson came and talked to us about this opportunity, we were not looking. You know, we were busy, we had our lifestyle, and we just weren't looking for anything new. But the main thing for me, as Julie explained to you, is I was very skeptical. How many people were skeptical when they looked at this? Let's be honest. To be honest, I know you were skeptical, right? And I was skeptical because I had never, ever been involved in a direct sales business before. I had never done network marketing. And let's face it, I was an entrepreneur. I was running my business. I had clients in Virginia. I live in Maryland. I'm out of the house 12 to 15 hours a day. I come home. I spend time with my son. I had no time left. You know, 12 to 15 hours a day, that's a long day. I know there's a lot of women in here, mothers in here, single women. You know what I'm talking about, right, ladies? Yeah. Okay. So I said, when am I going to have time to do this? So Julie said, well, let me just go do some research. I said, okay, go check it out. The lady said, secretly, I was thinking he was going to come back and say, we're not going to get involved in that. That's crazy. But he fooled me. He actually ended up falling in love with it, and he said, Shell, I really think we should take a look at this. So my 2 aha moments with Ambit, let me explain to you when they happened. The first was the business presentation. Julius and I went to our first business presentation back in October of 2010 in Greenbelt, Maryland. And I'll tell you guys, I walked in and I said, we're sitting at the back of the room, had my phone. And I'm just waiting for them to start hooting and hollering because I'm making a stage left. I'm out of here. But when I saw the compensation plan that Julius went through with you, now listen, I'm the CFO for our company, so I'm the money woman. Okay, I'm big on ROI. I am not going to spend 1 iota of my time if I don't see a true, investment coming out of it. When I saw that compensation plan, I nudged him and I said, hey, we ought to take a look at this. Did you see that kind of money you can make? And he's like, yeah, I know. That's why I wanted you to come. Because I know that would pique your interest. And the second time, and Julie shared this with you guys a little bit, that I had the aha moment is the following. Let's really be real. The rules of this economy really are making us change our lifestyle, right? There's so many people, wouldn't you agree, that are out of work. Over 8 million people who are out of work. They're being right-sized, they're being downsized, they're being laid off. And you know what? They have to find an additional stream of income because you can't depend on a job. And this really hit home for me and my husband when back in the beginning of 2011, the federal government couldn't pass a budget. And I had to furlough 14 people in my company. And you know what? That woke me up. And I said, you know what? Nothing in this world is guaranteed, right? I thought going to school, getting a degree, getting a good job, and hey, I really excelled. We had our own company. But you know what? That company was based on linear income. You know what I mean by linear income? I work an hour, I get paid for an hour. Okay? If I don't kill something, I don't eat. If the federal government decides that they want to cut my contract, I don't get paid. So when I saw this business and I saw that I could make the type of residual income that Ambit offers you by just doing the work once and getting paid month after month after month. And that check went into my bank, and I didn't have to do anything. You know when that really hit with me? When we first went to Power Trip, I was explaining this to a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. We went to Power Trip about 3 months after we first got into the business. And so we're down there, we're sponges, we're trying to learn everything we can do. Because Julius and I said, we're going to get in this. We're going to be all in. We're going to jump in both feet. We're going to work it hard. We're going to be sponges. So we go to Power Trip. While I was at Power Trip, guys, I didn't work my business because I'm learning, right? I got a $1,500 residual check, that bonus check that week. I hadn't even been working a business. I said, okay, this is okay. I think this is going to work out. And the rest has been history. But you know what? That is the day that changed my life. And that's when I started focusing on what I call the 3 C's. And the 3 C's, I want you guys to write this down. The 3 C's is the choice, taking a chance, and seeing change in your life. See, after I had to furlough those 14 people, I made a choice. I made a choice that I was tired of sacrificing my quality of life for a paycheck, for linear income, and not being able to live on my own terms, because you know what, if the government didn't pay it, I couldn't. And so, you know, we jumped in, like I said, both feet, and we ran and we did this business. And then I took a chance, okay? And you know why I took a chance? I didn't know network marketing. I didn't know how to build this business. But you know what I did know? That in 5 short years, Ambit was able to produce over 10 millionaires, okay, through their proven system that they had in place. So, okay, so I started thinking, if they have a proven system that's been able to produce 10 millionaires, maybe they know a little something about growing this business? Maybe just a little bit. So guess what? I plugged in. We plugged in. We started going to meetings. We started training. We started doing everything that Ambit told us to do. And you know what else we were? We were teachable and coachable. If you're not teachable and coachable, listen guys, I know you all are successful people in your businesses today, but you cannot bring what you do in your corporate life to Ambit and make this business work. It's just not going to work. I tried it. It didn't work. I'm here to tell you. So we became teachable and coachable, and guess what happened? I got that first $1,500 check. That first weekend, that bonus. I started seeing the financial changes that I wanted so desperately in my life. So now I'm going to be financially free. I'm going to be time free. And guess what I get to do? I get to live life on my terms. I get to now be able to walk away. I can fire myself. I can fire myself and get, guess what, 4 to 5 hours of my day back. How many people would love to have 5 hours back in their day? To do whatever you want to do. I can go visit my son as my son is starting his college journey. It's been exciting all summer. We've been visiting different schools. Now I can go visit him. Okay? I can get up in the morning, and let me just tell you, me and my husband have been practicing this financially free thing. Tuesdays and Thursdays we get up, we have coffee together, we go get spa treatments. You know, practicing is a lot of fun. So I'm going to make sure I feel, you know, because I'm an overachiever. I want to make sure I get this thing right. But listen, I have a question to ask you. When are you going to decide to live life on your terms? When are you going to decide to make the choice, to make a change in your life, to make a choice, to do something differently, to take a chance, okay, to learn how to build this business successfully? And guess what the result is? You'll be financially free, you'll be time free, and guess what? You'll be able to live life on your terms. Think about it, guys. Make the decision today. So, with that being said, now I want to talk to you about team etiquette. This is something that is very important that we teach every week at our training center in Maryland. And it's called the Art of Playing Team. And this is why it's so, this is the soft skill stuff about our business, right? This is the stuff that you don't always get taught, but we felt that it's so important because you know, if you don't know these skills, then you really cannot have a successful presentation. You know, so many of us, what do we work so hard to do? We work so hard to get people to come out so we can expose them to this opportunity, right? This is the core of our business, is the business presentation. And if we don't handle it successfully, all that hard work that we've done to get people in the room, to expose them to this presentation is all for naught, right? And we have to understand, we're in this business for ourselves, but we're not by ourselves. This is truly, truly a team effort. So, you know, you have to, you know, when you're in there, you have to be able to be available and participate. You know, participate in the presentation so you may be successful. So what does that mean? Okay, when you show up, this is a business, guys. This is a business. So dress for success, right? Come in there. I'm not saying you have to suit it up and all, but have on a pair of nice slacks and a shirt for guys. Women, you know, have on a nice pair of slacks and a blouse. Dress for success. Be proud of your business. Okay, be excited. Be enthusiastic. You know, don't come in there with the problems of your day. Please, don't do that. Okay? Don't complain about your business to other consultants when you have guests in the room, because guess what? They're looking around. They're checking everything out, right? They want to see what are the kind of people I'm getting involved in this business with. What are they about? What are they doing? They're watching you. Be mindful of that. Be happy. Be enthusiastic. And arrive early. I'm really a stickler about this, guys. Time management. You really got to get into this. Because let me tell you why this is so important. When you get to the business presentation early, what does that allow you to do? Now you can meet other consultants that are in this business. You can get to know them, but you also get to know who are the leaders in the room. So guess what? You can introduce your guests to them when you bring guests. That is so important. That is so important. And then the other thing is introduce your prospects to the leaders in the room. So that after the presentation, guess what? They know who they can go to get their questions answered. If they come and you don't make that known, how do they know who the leaders are? That is so important. And if you don't have a guest, be a part of the guest experience. Be excited. You know, participate when you're asked to participate. Laugh at the jokes, and I'll tell you a lot about that. And be aware of what the speaker may need. You know, maybe their clicker isn't working and they need a battery. You know, help them out. You know, because guess what? This presentation is not only for them, it's also for you and your guests. So be a part of making this a true experience for the guests. When you come in, don't block the entrance to the room or stand at the signing table. Okay? We need to get people in the room, get them, you know, talking to people. And that's why it's good to arrive early so you can do that. But don't stand and block the room. Don't stand at the signing table. You know, sign in and come directly into the room. You know, always fill the room. We always tell people to come to the front of the room. You know, fill the room in. Come to the front. Don't sit in the back. Because guess what? If you're sitting in the front of the room and then you get up and you go out, that's very, you know, distracting to the speaker and to the guests that are there. Because guess what happens? They start looking at you. They start looking at what you're doing. You don't want that. Okay? If you know that you have a guest that is going to come and they may be a little late, then sit in the back of the room. So that when they come, you can go and get them and just sit in the back room and not be distractful to other folks. And I forgot to do this with you guys when I did. This is all we call it the telephone salute. Always turn your cell phone off, your beepers, anything that makes a whistle, noise, or sound. Because again, you want your prospect to be focused on hearing and being exposed to this opportunity. And as I said, you know, sit in the front of the room so that you're not distracted. The next thing, pay attention to the presentation, guys. Because guess what? Your guest has never heard this information before. Don't talk to them. Let them hear the full presentation. And don't disturb your neighbors. That's part of this. You got to be attentive and listen. And you know what? When we ask for participation, clap. Guess what? I know you guys have heard these jokes 100 times. I know you have. But guess what? Your guest hasn't heard it. And the guests in the room have it. So be energetic. Laugh at the jokes. I know you've heard it a million times. Listen. Belly. Ha, 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 ha. And, you know, for no reason, get up during the presentation. That's why I always do a 5-minute, you know, alert before any of the meetings. So people, if they have to use the restroom, if they want to get refreshments, they do so that they can stay fully focused while it's going on. All right? And, you know, sit in the back if you do need to leave so you're not distracted. At the end of the presentation, you know, right after the money section, the compensation section, we always do a leadership recognition, and that's when we ask the RCs and the SCs, the ECs, and if we're blessed to have an NC in the room, we'll introduce them. Okay, this is only a time for you to state your name and what you do for a living. It's not a time for a testimonial, guys. We'll get people come up, oh, I joined Ambit and I did it. If we have 20 people stand up, we won't get through it. And guess what? We have to be respectful of people's time. So at the end, we want to make sure that everyone in the room has a chance to introduce themselves. So be sure you do that. At the end, you know, don't try to close your own guests. And let me tell you why. Because our prophet is not heard in his own land, right? You can't close your guests. Because your guest knows you. They know you don't know energy. Find a leader in the room. And that leader will close your guest for you successfully. And do not interrupt at the end of the meeting with questions. We're doing the presentation. We always ask people to hold their questions until the end because we are on a time frame and we do because most people, you know, just like my husband said earlier, you know about those meetings, right? You go in, they keep you for hours, you don't get your question answered. So we try to keep the meeting to 1 hour to the dot. We start on time and we finish on time, whether there's one person in a room or 15 people. because we always have to be respectful of those time. And, you know, help to preserve the location that you're meeting in, you know. Help be a part of the cleanup. We always, you know, move chairs back. If we see water bottles on the floor, we clean it up. Just be respectful of the location that, you know, your sponsor or the guests there have, you know, gotten for us for the presentation. Clean it up. Make sure you keep it neat. And then be prepared to sign someone up. And what I mean by that is bring your own laptop. Bring your own magazines. Don't depend on other leaders or consultants to help close your consultants, especially if you know someone is very close to signing up. You want to have all the tools in your possession to close them hard. And what I mean by that is after you had a leader talk to them and they say, okay, I'm ready to sign up, if you have your laptop, guess what? You want to maximize that excitement. You want to sign them up right on the spot. That's the beauty that Ambit has offers us with the website and the internet. You can get them on, I can't tell you how many consultants that we've signed up directly after a meeting because we had our laptops and we were ready to go. And you know what, if you don't have a laptop, make sure you have your consultant sign-up forms. Take their information. If they're excited, you want to maximize it to the max. Okay, let's sit down, let's fill out all your information. They'll, you know, if they're your friend or something, put down their credit card number. I'll call you when I get home in 15, 20 minutes and we'll walk you through the sign-up process. Don't let a new consultant get away, guys. Or even a customer. Have your customer sign-up forms. You know, be empowered to maximize that. So has this been a little helpful for you guys? Yeah. In terms of how to run a business? And you know, this is why I said these are the soft skills, because they're things that we really don't focus on or think about, but they're so important to having a successful business presentation. So right now, what we're going to do, have you guys enjoyed the first part of the program? And you thought the information was helpful? Well, we're going to give you guys a minute to stretch, and we're going to just take a 10-minute.
All ready for part two? Yeah. Sir. You ready? Yeah. All right. We having fun yet? Yeah. Good. So here we are out on a Sunday. You know, well, NFL hasn't started yet, right? No. 3 games. Who cares? Right? Yeah. After the first quarter, they pull everybody out. Whatever else. I'm going to cover something that is really important. So far, let me just kind of recap real quick. So we covered what is your why. Why are you doing this? What are your dreams and your goals? We talked about burning your ships. Okay? We talked about getting over your self-imposed limitations, right? Okay? Then what did we cover? The comp plan, how this thing works. Then we talked about team etiquette. All right? And now we're going to cover how to contact and invite effectively. Because one of the things that I find very interesting is that most of us don't know how to do this properly. You know why? I still mess it up. But what's the amazing part about this business is we get to learn from other people that are already successful. Y'all agree with me? Yeah. All right. And you know how we became successful? By doing it poorly and badly. People go, well, you know what? You guys have heard that repetition, right? Repetition, repetition, repetition. How do you become good at something? Keep doing it over and over. Practice, right? Y'all ever heard the saying, practice makes perfect? Yes. I disagree with that statement. Perfect practice makes perfect. Because if you do it wrong, guess what? You keep doing it wrong. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you notice, I didn't just put how to contact and invite. What did I put at the bottom? Effectively. Okay? Effectively. I have a friend of mine that plays for the Philadelphia Phillies. Actually just got traded. Okay? But he's from the Dominican Republic. And I remember this so clearly. I went to go see him this spring. Okay? It was a perfect night in Philly. I know there's New York and New Jersey. Hey, look, I'm not talking team affiliations here. Because please understand, I'm from Texas. All right? So we're not even going to have that conversation, right? Because you guys, right, Shalom, everybody's going to shut down in 5 minutes. They'll go, well, yeah, Phil's from Texas. Shut up, quack, quack. All right? Y'all see the truck I drive? Y'all don't think I'm country. Go see the truck I drive. I'm serious. Okay? You'll know right away and go, oh, that boy country. Oh, lucky I'm just not wearing my cowboy boots because I'm hurt. Okay? Then you'll go, oh, okay. yeah, all right? But I remember having the discussion with him. So he's from the Dominican Republic, and I'm sitting there behind a home plate, perfect evening. You know, it's about 70 some odd degrees. And here comes Wilson Valdez out onto the field. Okay? And to me, it was surreal. And he made that look so natural, right? And so the conversation I had with him a couple of days later, Joanne, I said, you know what, Wilson, please, I mean, you make this look so simple. And you come out on the field, and I'm telling you, you know, because I can tell he's got his game face on. You know, I know him personally. Y'all understand? You know what? And you know that there's some psych out going on between the pitcher and the guy on the plate. You guys know that, right? That's game. I mean, that's part of that process where they're eyeballing each other. And you know what? One guy's job is to throw the other one out. And the other guy's job is to hit. Y'all agree with me? Yeah. And all I asked him is, how do you make it look so natural? There's 45, 50,000 people. You're there as a major league player. How do you make it look so natural? And he goes, Phil, it is no different than when I was 7 or 8 years old in the Dominican Republic, and I was playing on that dirt field, and I had a mitt to use that was so big that I had to tape it up, because if not, you know, it would fly off my hand. And I played in sandals. Matter of fact, I played so much that my mom at night, when it would get dark, okay, would have to come and get me off the field. Do y'all understand? And he says, Phil, what I did all those years leading up to that moment that you saw me coming out to step up, okay, he says, all I've been doing my whole life has been fielding the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball, and stepping up to the plate and hitting. And he says, this is what I do 7, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Field the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, and step up to the plate. And what happened is, through that process, and I'm setting up for what I'm going to cover here, because I want you to understand, in that process, it wasn't just him. He had coaches. Do you all understand? He had coaches of individuals like Shalom, okay? Like Julius and Shelley, like myself, like a bunch of the, you know, there's a good friend of mine here, Shimon Kalayoko. Did I pronounce that right? Kalayoko. Okay? All right? Look, you have ECs and SCs on your team that are there to coach you. And what he said is, every time I would do something wrong, the coach would go, no, 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 your stance is wrong. No, no, no. You guys understand? So how many of you all want to learn how to contact and invite effectively so you can step out onto the field and make it look so amazing in front of 45,000 people and crack one into the bleachers? How many of y'all are interested in doing that? Okay, so that's what we're going to cover. All right? So the first thing about contacting and inviting, now some of this stuff is basic and redundant. Some of you are going to go, wait a minute, you know, I've heard this before. Well, good, you're going to hear it again. Okay, why? Perfect practice makes perfect. Y'all agree with me? Yeah. So the first thing, and folks, in case y'all are wondering, we're not doing this on purpose, all right? There's just some kind of glitch there that it keeps going on and off. It's not, you know, anything else, all right? But the first thing is make a list of everyone you know. Here's what we're going to assume right up front today. This is day one in your Ambit career. Fair enough? It's day one. Okay? And here you are at spring training, and what you want to know is the basics of what you need to do to be on a championship team and to get your championship ring. How many of y'all want a championship ring? Okay, how many of y'all want, how many of y'all want a championship ring? Okay? That's it. This is your Ambit championship ring. Do you all understand? And they give it to you for doing the basics extremely well over and over and over and over and over again until you win. Do you all understand that? That's what's amazing about this business. Do you know what's even more amazing? They give it to everyone that does it. They give it to everyone that does it. So the first thing you want to do is make a list of everyone you know. Second thing is you want to go through it as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. You want to step up to the plate and you just want to swing away. Swing away. Swing away. Swing. And look, you ready for this? Some of them you're going to miss. Okay? The pitches, if you think about this, are your list of people. And please understand, we have a saying in Texas. Okay, you guys ready for this? Okay? You can quote me. You can't fix stupid. Okay? And what do I mean by that? When people say, no, you can't fix stupid. All right, and what do I mean by that? I don't want to offend anybody here, but look, if people don't get this, this ain't a juice, this ain't a vitamin, this isn't a pill, a lotion, or anything else. You don't have to schlep any products. Okay, you don't have to convince people to buy your stuff. It's energy. It's habitually used, unconsciously purchased. Y'all agree with me? Yes. Okay? So what do we have to convince people of? But here's what I try to get, man. People get hung up on this. Why do I say go through the list as quickly as possible? Because momentum is one of those things in this business that you catch or you don't catch. And folks, I will challenge each and every one of you here to understand something. What you do your first 90 to 120 days in your business does make a difference. Matter of fact, what you do your first 30, 60, 90 days creates momentum. And it makes the difference between you going regional in 2 weeks, senior in 2 months, and executive consultant in 12 to 15 months, or still sitting there as a marketing consultant after 12 months. Do you all understand? Am I making sense, or am I going too fast here? Making sense, right? And please also understand, I'm very passionate. You know, Shelley says that. You know why? Because I want you all to win. Okay? I want you all to win. And here's what I've come to realize. The only way that I can help people win is by telling them things factually as they are, not in a euphoria or in a let's make believe of things of how they should be. Y'all agree with me? You want to hear it the way they think the things are? You know, or you want to hear the fairy tale? As they are. Okay? So you make a list of everyone you know. You go through it as quickly as possible, and then be quick, concise, and stick to the script. Folks, the script has been set up by people that are successful in this business. All right? And it's used the 4 questions every single time. Now, I need to give you guys a little story on this that you all don't know. My personal sponsor was the actually #1 income earner, the first #1 income earner in Ambit. Okay? You all heard of Carlos Marin. Now, why am I saying that? Okay? It's very important. Because we are the ones that actually, when we got involved in the business, people always ask, what is a founding consultant? Well, let me tell you something. It means exactly that. Okay, we were at this with picks and shovels. There wasn't fancy presentations. Okay, and it was December 2006. We're sitting in a condo in Dallas, Texas, and we were trying to figure out what were going to be the questions that we're going to use to contact people. And at 3 o'clock in the morning is where we came up with these questions. I don't know if you heard that story before, Shalom. Okay? All right? This was before Energy 526, which is what we put together in the beginning. Y'all understand? So that's where, in the beginning, we're talking about carts and horses. Let me tell you, we were lucky if we had a cart and a horse. Okay? The point is these questions work. And so the first question when you're going to contact somebody, and folks, please understand something. Natural, relaxed, is the first thing you're going to ask somebody is, what do you know about energy deregulation? Folks, that's called a paradigm shift. Here's what most people do when they want to contact somebody. Marilyn, I got to tell you about this great opportunity. It has to do with Ambit Energy, and oh my God, it's energy deregulation. We're going to get rich, right? Let me tell you about Jerry Thompson Jr., and oh my God, Southland Corporation. You know 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven. And let me tell you, and basically, people are throwing up all over people. Could you imagine if you and I were friends, you'd be freaking out going, oh, Phil, what are you on? We're going to get rich. You know that's the first thing that people are going to go, you got one of those things that you have, right? You know, it's like saying, come to a hotel meeting. People go, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we know what that means. That's code for multi-level marketing. Do you all understand that? So what you do is it's a paradigm shift. The approach when you're contacting somebody and you're asking them, what do they know, or what do you know about energy deregulation? Okay, you guys ready for this? It doesn't matter. I don't care what they say. People go, well, Phil, why are you asking the question? Because I'm setting the tone for the invite. Does that make sense, Joanne? That's all. I'm setting the tone. And they're going to say whatever. And all it's going to lead to, for me, is to get to the next question, which is, how many people do you know that use or pay for natural gas or electricity? Now, are you trying to sell anybody anything at that point? Okay, who's new here? Your name is, sir?
Keith.
Keith. How many people do you know that pay for natural gas and electricity?
Everybody.
Now, look, I want you all to turn. Answer that question again.
Everybody.
Look, his eyes go up. He smiles like, hey, you're big stupid from Texas. Of course. That's a dumb question. Boy, you are country. But that's the reaction I'm looking for, Keith, right? Now, am I trying to sell you anything right now?
No.
No, but you're looking at me going, dude, that's a stupid question. It's not really, though. You understand? So here's the next one. Now, Keith, how many of those do you think would like to pay less or even get it for free? Look at his face. Do it again. Dude, stupid. Right? Now, you ready? You ready? Because you're engaging in a conversation with Keith now. Do y'all understand? And here it is where most people miss it. This is where the fangs drop and they go into Ambit vampire mode. Okay? And they're trying to convince everybody. They're right? And this is where you just got to chill. Just take a deep breath. And just go, and here's the key, folks. I want you to learn this. Keith, if you and I could get paid to market a program like that, how much money do you think we could make?
A lot.
Or the other, and this is just a little bit of a variation, okay? If you and I could get paid to show and teach people how to do that, do what? Save money on their monthly energy bill or even get it for free. How much money do you think we could get paid? We could make. Does that make sense to anybody here? Some of y'all are just kind of nodding your head going, is that simple? It is. Okay? That's fielding the ball, catching the ball, throwing the ball, and stepping up to the plate every single day. Those of you that don't know me well, Julius has kind of shadowed me and he goes, Phil, you do it all the time. I do it just to practice. I'm at Starbucks having a coffee. Somebody steps up next to me, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I am a cold contacting machine. You know why? Folks, look at the economy. Tell me people ain't looking. And tell me that we don't have a real opportunity. Right? So, does this make sense to anybody here? How am I doing on time? Okay? All right. So yes, does that work? All right, so I'm going to do this real quick. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My one question is, is there any need for any kind of preamble statement?
No.
Not at all.
I don't think so. For people that you and I, your first name is?
Ed.
Ed. I'll tell you what. You guys mind if I just do this real quick? So Ed and I are friends, okay? We're co-workers. And what my thing is I'm going to put him on my list. Why? Because I know Ed, he's a friend of mine, he's sharp, he's ambitious, he's a go-getter. Him and I talk about, you know what, the brakes need this, and that, and my kid's going to college, and this. Because Ed and I are friends. Do you all agree? Yeah. So we know things personally about each other, right? So I find this opportunity, I'm going to put Ed on the list. Now, here's where you guys need to understand. It's up to Ed to qualify or disqualify himself. Y'all hear what I just said? It's up to Ed to qualify or disqualify himself. He decides, based on his response, if he makes the team cut or not. See, some of y'all got that backwards. But all I would do is give you a call. We'd have a conversation. How's your wife? How's the kids? How's your business? How's this? How's that? You know? And I'd get the small talk out of the way, and right away, so the preamble, if you call it that, would be the conversation you and I would have for a couple of minutes, as friends do, visiting over the phone. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
And then I would go right to it and go, Ed, what do you know about energy deregulation?
So the same way with a cold contact or someone...
I'm going to cover that in a minute. And actually, it is. It is. Okay? 15? All right, good. So does this make sense so far? Yeah. Folks, and all I can tell you is if you take a snapshot of this and become very good at this, you will now, people go, well, Phil, you know, I've got people asking me, is this network marketing? You guys ready? I haven't gotten that for 5 years now. And people go, really? Yeah, exactly. We go, are you that good? I ain't that good, Ed, trust me. I ain't that good. But if you're direct and to the point, folks, it takes the stupidity out of the conversation, is what I personally think. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that somewhere in this process, people don't ask me. I had somebody the other day, Julius was with me, a lady that's in pharmaceutical reps, and after we went through the whole process, she goes, oh my God, I didn't realize this was network marketing. Okay? And I go, well, it's not. It's a hybrid. Okay? Network marketing to me is Amway, Mary Kay, and all those other things. Y'all agree with me? Please understand something. Ambit Energy is registered with the Public Utilities Commission of every single state and everywhere we go. As a multi-level marketing company or as an energy company? Wow. Y'all understand that? Wow, that's game over. See, we don't register with the Public Utility or the Public Service Commission as a MLM company selling energy. No, we are an energy company. Do y'all understand that? End of conversation. We use the MLM compensation plan to pay people commissions based on customer gathering. Yes, that is true. But we are not a multi-level marketing company. I challenge that. Okay? So, the questions make sense? Okay? Now here's what's important. What happens between these two? Folks, all I can tell you is this. Less is more. Okay? The less you say, the more you make. Okay? Stop trying to convince people that Ambit is the right opportunity. It's not the right opportunity for everybody. Well, Phil, wait a minute, I'm confused. Everybody qualifies. Everybody qualifies. Okay? Everybody qualifies. But they disqualify themselves in the process. Do you all understand? You know, if people don't try to convince people. Let's just put it this way. So what do you do in between? So once you've got the 4 questions, you got people interested. Look, here's where you really take a deep breath. And what you've got to do is point to the tools that you have available that have been developed for you to duplicate what you need to done. Okay? Don't try to be a superstar. Okay? Don't try to be a one-man army. Okay? You guys remember that commercial the Army used to make and they pulled it? You guys remember? Army of One? Most stupid commercial I've ever seen. From an ex-military individual, okay? 11 years in the military, through 3 tours during Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Okay? No. I qualify that statement, not to offend anybody in the military. Okay? I've earned it. But it is the most stupid statement I've ever heard. Because there is no such thing as an army of one. Okay? Because you know what that's called? Dead. I know, that's brutal, right? That's what it is called. It's dead. There is no such thing. So the point is you have to get to people to the system, the tools. So folks, send them to your website. And what I'm not talking about is your Ambit website. Personally, and look, if I say anything different than your upline says, you know, remember, they have a better feel and pulse on your business than I do. But I will tell you, don't send them to www, my Ambit Energy site. People will get confused as heck. Send them to Energy 526, okay? And have them look at the Energy 526 videos, or have them look at why Ambit works, okay? But please understand that people are going to Google Ambit anyway, and there's so much garbage out there because guess what? There's no filters. Do you all understand? So send them to that, bring them to a meeting, expose them, but after they get exposed to the business, the money is in the follow-up. How many of y'all understand that the money is in the follow-up, not in contact and inviting people? Contact and inviting, okay, is you stepping up to the plate and swinging away. But unless you get a hit, nothing happens. Do you all agree with me? Okay, you can step up to the plate all day long till the cows come home, but if at some point you don't get a hit, nothing's happening. The game ain't moving around. Do you all agree? Nothing's happening. So one of the things you need to do is follow back up with the individual, and then what I do is, all right, so remember, little mouse, all right, there you go. All right, I got 10 minutes, I'm good. Okay? So Keith, what do you know about energy deregulation? See, he's got that deer in the headlight look like we call it. Don't worry about that, it's all good. See, I love that one, okay? Keith, how many people do you know that pay for natural gas and electricity?
Everybody.
How many of those would like to pay less or even get it for free?
Everybody.
And if you and I could get paid for teaching and showing people how to do that, how much money do you think we could make?
A lot of money.
Great. Let me ask you something, Keith. When are you going to be by your computer for about 5-10 minutes?
Half an hour.
Half an hour? Great. I'll call you back. Thank you. I'll call you back. I got something I want you to see. I love people that do the mass email blast, right, Shalom? I'm going to mass email my people, and then I'm going to wonder why they're never going to look at it. Folks, I'm going to establish, Shalom, when are you going to be home by your computer?
A week from February. Not about 8 o'clock.
Right? No, a week from February. Okay, I'll call you back a week from February. Folks, I kid you not, I have that. Okay? You know what? Monday afternoon, Monday evening, I'll call you back then. I got something I want to run by you. Boom. And leave them guessing. It's over. Do you guys understand that? Makes sense. All right? You give them the link, you call them when they're ready to take a look at it. And Keith says, well, Phil, I'm by my computer now. Great. Go to www.mywebhandle.energy526.com. There's about 12 minutes worth of information, Keith, that has to do with energy deregulation I want you to take a look at, and then I'll call you back. Can you do that?
Say it again.
Keith, can you do that? All right? And when you call them back, here's what you're going to ask. You ready? This is it. Folks, this is called closing the sale. All right? How many of y'all have gone to go buy a car? How many of y'all figured out there's a lot of salesmen, but there's only 1 or 2 people in that whole dealership that knows how to close the deal? And you notice that the more you hem and haw around, they end up bringing different people up, right? Don't you? I love it. See me, I love that. I'm in the market for a brand new car. I love playing that game. Because to me, it's entertaining. Oh, you're going to bring out the GM? Oh, great. That's good. Because you know what? I love playing that game. Right? It's great. It's fun. But what you're going to ask them is, Keith, you looked at the video that I shared with you, right? That I asked you to take a look at?
Yes.
Right? What did you like best about what you saw? Find out. Phil, I like that it has to do with energy deregulation and there's residual income. What else did you like? I like that you guys are expanding and growing in New Jersey and New York. Great. And you ready for this? Folks, at a certain point, here it is. Ask for the sale. Keith, do you see yourself as a customer or a consultant?
Consultant.
And people go, well, Phil, does it really work that way? Here's what I've come to figure out. Folks, you give people an either or, they'll pick one of the two. I don't ask people, what do you think? You know why? I don't care. I didn't ask for your opinion. I know people go, oh, Shalom, I'm sorry. I'm never going to be invited. That's twice that I've said that, right? I'm never going to be invited again. But you all agree with me? Right? It's like you and I, okay, having a discussion about your faith, right? Do you care about my opinion at the end of the day? Does it change the fact of your faith? No. Yes? No, none whatsoever. Do you understand? I just want to make a point, folks. The answer is irrelevant. And that's why you don't ask people what they think. You give them an either or. Do you want to become a customer or do you want to become a consultant? Right? And they're going to tell you, well, Phil, I need more information. That's when you get somebody on the phone and go, you know what? I had questions just like you did, Keith. Let me get you on the phone with Julius Weems. He's a good friend of mine. He's an engineer. You know what? He's out of Maryland building a big business. Matter of fact, he didn't even want to do this. You know, when he looked at it, you know, let me put you on a three-way call real quick. Or let me. Do you guys understand? Okay? Don't try to close people on your own if you get that. But if you ask people, do you want to see yourself as a customer or consultant? Please, do you all understand that this is a yes or yes proposition business? A lot of people treat this like a yes-no proposition business, Joanne, and it's not. The options are very simple. You're either going to become a customer or you're going to become a consultant. Or you're going to continue paying more with JCP&L or PSE&G or Atlantic City Utilities or Con Edison or whatever. Do you all agree with me? All right? So after that, it's when you tell the person you see yourself as a customer or consultant, okay, ask them this. Does this mean you're ready to get started or do you have more questions? And folks, I guarantee you, if you become good at doing this, all right, it flows so well because people will make a decision and will get in as a customer consultant if you ask them to. And last part, as I'm wrapping up, is cold contacting. Okay, this is huge because people always say, Phil, I've gone through my whole list. What am I going to do now? Right? I've talked to everybody that I know. You guys ready? Get to know more people. Make new friends. And that's where it's called cold contacting. You know why it's called cold contacting? Because you don't know the individual. All right? But the number one rule of cold contacting is to relax and be yourself. I love this, Shalom. People they go, Phil, today I'm going out contacting for Ambit. And you know what I tell them? Please don't. It ain't going to work for you. I know people go, what? I'm confused. What do you mean? It won't work for you. Okay? But if you go, here's the line. Don't go out to do Ambit. Make Ambit part of your daily routine and conversations. That's it. Y'all understand? Okay? Just relax and meet people as you would usually. And talk about their favorite subject. Them. It's true. Okay? What's your first name? Peter. You know, let's say you and I are at Starbucks, and we're both there in the morning grabbing our morning coffee. I've seen you 2-3 times, you know, and what kind of work do you do, Peter?
Retired.
You're retired? What do you used to do?
Psychologist.
Really? How many years did you do that for? 40 years. And what do you do now? You do as you please. Now, but hold on. But do you realize what's happening here? And I wanted to prove a point. Do you know what's happening is there's a dialogue developing between Peter. Am I trying to recruit him as a customer? Am I trying to sell him on Ambit? Eventually, in the conversation, okay, inevitably, some point during the conversation, Peter will ask me, Phil, what do you do? Normally in a conversation that happens, right? And my response, for those of you that know me, is internally I'm going, I'm glad you asked. And here's where I go back to. You guys ready for this? Peter, what do you know about energy deregulation? That goes directly back to your question, Ed. Folks, the basics will never change. Cold contacting or warm contacting, Peter, you always go back to the same thing. What do you know about energy deregulation, Peter?
I know it's deregulated, reduced monopolies.
Awesome. Well, I guess the better way to put it is, how many people do you know that pay for natural gas and electricity? Many. How many of those do you think would like to pay less or even get it for free? And if you and I could market a program like that, how much money do you think we could make?
Quite a bit.
Peter, do you and I know each other?
We do now.
We do now, right? Am I making sense here? Okay? Folks, just remember this, and I'm done, okay? If you remember the 4 key questions, and remember that this is about fielding the ball, catching the ball, throwing the ball, and swinging away, you will have everything you need to build your business, and it becomes a subconscious, natural thing that you do on a daily basis. Okay, folks, I do it all the time. I love doing it. It's a challenge. Because to me, it's a matter of, and as I'm done, I want you guys to understand, worst economy of our generation. Do y'all agree with me? Okay, folks, people are scared. Do y'all agree with me? They don't know what's happening. All the rules are out the door. Job security doesn't exist. Corporate America doesn't care. If they're done with you, you guys realize they're done with you, right? So the only thing is, what I love is it's back to the basics that this country was built on, which is what? Free enterprise, building your own business, you being in control. Become a master at what you do. And just remember this one last point, okay? When you're talking to Peter or Keith, you can be talking to the next top income earner in Ambit. And my question is how would you feel if you saw Peter or Keith were afraid to get over your self-imposed fears and limitations, and all of a sudden, Keith and Peter shows up at a meeting, and it gets announced as a brand new regional or senior consultant, and they're not on your team. Folks, it's happened to me twice in my Ambit career. It makes me sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach. Don't let it happen to you. So just remember this one last point, that the person that you're talking to can become the next top income earner in Ambit, and they could be on your team because you did what others most fear. All right? So I'm done. It's been a pleasure sharing with you, and I get to introduce you once again to my good friend, executive consultant Julius Weems.
Congratulations.
Nothing. Still nothing.
Hey guys, so, you know, one of the big things about this event is that we really wanted to offer you guys tangible training. So far, how's it been? I mean, because we want you to have valuable things to go out and grow your business. And so, what I get to talk about is a part that I'm very passionate about, and it's really about driving depth. So I talked earlier about the compensation plan. Now I'm going to add on to that a little bit. Now we're going to talk about how do you take that and make millions of dollars in Ambit Energy. And so, in Ambit, if you struggle to serve, you will never struggle to earn profit. If you struggle to serve in Ambit, you'll never ever struggle to be profitable. And what I'm going to show you is driving depth. And, you know, when Phil was working with me, I didn't know I was doing this, but when I realized I was, when Shelly and I realized, you know, this makes sense, and I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind today. Because once I understood it, it just took the business to a whole different level. So, you know, this is our depth unit. And this model is, you know, I talked about going 6 wide, remember? Okay. I'm going to break this down a little bit. This is going to go 3 wide. I'm going to make it a little easier, okay? So I'm going to show you the depth unit. The depth unit says I go and I sponsor 3, okay? Sponsor 3 people. And then what I do is that the 3 people, and actually, Mark, I'm going to pick on you again. Come on, Mark. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to sponsor Mark, and he's going to be one of my 3, okay? And I'm going to teach him to say, Mark, I want you to go out and get 3 people. So pick 3 people. Please stand.
I'll take Ed.
Please stand.
And I'll take Peter.
And Peter. Please stand. And I want you to understand this. So, Mark just went out and sponsored 3 people. I'm his sponsor. Okay? So I'm going to teach him. I taught him how to get his customers, right? And I taught him how to invite and co-contact. And then I'm going to tell him, say, Mark, look, here's what we're going to do. I want you to go work with those 2 gentlemen. And Peter is his strong person. Because we become talent scouts, right? We know, and he's really hungry. And he's like, oh, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I'm going to say, look, Mark, you go work with them. And I'm going to go over here and treat Peter like my person. Okay, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to gather your customers, and I'm going to do some home meetings with you, we'll do some one-on-ones. Now, Mark's over there teaching each one of his people how to go get 3. So just ask 3 people to stand. You ask 3 people? You ask 3 people to stand? Okay. Point at them. Stand up. So Mark's over there working, okay? And I'm trying to pop a regional here. So pick 3 people over here. Stand up.
I'll take 3 people.
Curtis.
All right, Curtis. Okay. So I want everybody to pay attention to this, okay? Because I'm going to, so now what I'm going to do is I taught Peter, I showed him how to get 20 customers and get 6 people. He got 3, and Joanne was a superstar that I said, man, Joanne is really going. She's gathering her customers quick and everything else. And so he's going to go work with those 2, and now I'm now working with Joanne. Now this is Mark's organization, right? And so now me and Joanne could come on, Joanne, let's come. So now I'm treating Joanne like my sponsor. But I taught Peter how to teach these guys how to go regional. 6 wide, get 20 customers, going to teach them how to invite. I want you to go sit with them and make some calls. Go with Shalom, show them how to do it. Go do a couple of meetings for them. I'm going to work with Joanne. Now what happened? I already popped Mark regional. Right? He's already got 3 in his MC code. I'm going to work with Joanne. Joanne's a firecracker. And Joanne puts in 6 and goes regional. So pick 6 people. Come on, girls, stand up. Come on. Okay, come on, stand up for me. Stand up for me. And here's what I want you to understand. I'm now on Mark's 3rd level working for Mark. Because if you struggle to serve, you'll never struggle to earn an Ambit. Working depth is purely about you showing your consultant how to duplicate. You want to know the magic in the business? Now, people are going to do what you do, not what you say. And now, because now I'm working with Joanne. Joanne's talking to me every day. Now, she's under Peter, who's under Mark, but I'm working with her every day. And now what happens, your business explodes. Because now for every one person, because I'm always one to the bottom, right? How do you stoke a fire? From the bottom. Let's say Peter slows down. Somebody said a consultant slow down on you, haven't you? Peter slows down, but Joanne's about to pop regional now. So Peter's getting some checks. Peter's like, what's going on? What happens is, I'm sorry, everybody can sit down now. For every one in depth that you sponsor, when you get 2 and 3 levels deep in this compensation plan, you will have 10 new people upline because they will duplicate what you do. Because Mark is excited. He's promoting, but he's also getting checks in his business. He's doing what I showed him what to do. Don't be such a great teacher in Ambit that you don't do the basics. Okay? And so then, people want to know, how do you go RC in 1 week? And I'm going to share a real example. Shelly and I were running to executive consultant, and I had a regional that fell asleep. Okay? Fell asleep. She put in, to go, she needed to go senior. We need to create 5 seniors on our senior code, and she went to sleep. But I was working with 2 people under her, just like persons. The day she went senior, she didn't even know. You have control of your destiny in Ambit if you understand how to work that. Sign up in Ambit Energy, pay for Power Zone, do 10 exposures. You just learn how to do exposures. Expose the business. You're not looking for people to say yes or no. You're looking to expose the business as much as you can to everybody. All the time. There are people that are coming back to me after a year at Ambit and saying, I'm ready now. Expose, expose, expose. Personally sponsor 3 that are, and then what you're going to do is you're going to find the most excited. You're going to go work with the person that's the most excited. You can help them sponsor 3. You're going to go to the bottom and sponsor the one that's most excited. You're going to do it again and again. And you're always stoking the fire from where? The bottom. Understanding this is how you become financially successful in Ambit Energy. How do you go SC in 1 month? 20 to 30 exposures. Personally sponsor 4 to 6. Go find the most excited people and work with them. Stop trying to drag somebody along that doesn't get it. Stop trying to pull somebody that went RC and went to sleep. Work with the people that deserve your time, not the ones that need it. So this is what I love. It's a very simple business. I told you someone called me and said, well, I got these people, they want to know how to make $2,000 in Ambit Energy. Understand this. How do you want to make $10,000 a month in Ambit Energy?
Yes.
Thank you, one person. So look, this is how we're going to do it. So look, what you're going to do, 50 consultants that are SC and or RC coded to you, and 50 consultants that are SC coded to you, $10,000 a month. Here's the thing, by stoking from the bottom, you have consultants getting in your business at numbers you would not believe. Okay, and Elise, Elise is actually a personally sponsored on my SC code. And Elise is incredible. She runs a Brazilian and Portuguese meeting out of Philadelphia. She has a huge team here in New Jersey. And I got to tell you is that her organization is growing at extreme pace. She'll be an executive consultant coming here soon. But here's... Remember now, Elise had me come do a presentation. She does Spanish and Portuguese meetings. And I don't speak either. But here's the thing is that I remember going to New Jersey to Maria's home, and you know, so because I wanted to show her how to do the business, and we did some one-on-one because people will do what you do, not what you say. And so, you know, we travel, and I remember those meetings. It was very early in, you know, as she was building and everything else. Understand is that, you know, I continue to see, you know, people pop in to the business, and when she got her 2 regionals out of Massachusetts and the 2 in Connecticut, and you know, and I couldn't call them and say hi. I can speak really good English, but the duplication of the basics, she learned the system. So I worked with her. I showed her how to invite contact, the packet we give out. She translated everything into Portuguese into Spanish. But the thing is that it wasn't even that. Even if you have people in your team that we don't speak the same language, the system works. Teach them the system. I taught her the system, and now she's changing lives by teaching the system. And now people are getting in the business that I may never be able to talk to until I learn Spanish or Portuguese. But here's the whole key is what I'm saying is that if you work with one person enough, if you struggle to serve, you will never struggle to earn. And that's what the model says. And so as long as you drive depth, you control your earnings. You don't have to be a superstar by yourself. I love people who can personally sponsor 1 million people by themselves. They're going to build a big business that's not profitable long term. If you're great, I love it when I get a 19-year-old that doesn't know anything about Ambit because he knows how to ask 4 questions. And let me walk you guys through a scenario. 19-year-old kid in Atlanta, Georgia that's in my business. No credibility. He's a college kid. He can't talk to a doctor or a lawyer. But he goes to his professor and he says, Professor Johnson, what do you know about energy deregulation? And the professor says to him, well, what do you mean? You know, I've heard about it. He says, well, look, how many people you know that use electricity? And he says, well, everybody. Everybody. You know, Martin, what are you talking about? How many of them would like to pay electricity rate and get it free? I mean, what if we could really show people how to do that? Well, everybody, you know. And if there was a company that actually paid people to do that, I wanted to really get your opinion because I respect you as my professor. And could you take a look at something for me? Sure, I can do that. So his professor looks at it and he says, well, look, I have some questions about this. Well, my mentor is actually one of the executives in this company out of Maryland. And I'm just a college student, so you know I really couldn't answer questions. Do you mind if I let him answer the questions for you? A 19-year-old kid can do that. Understand, I'm building his organization while he's in college. So now I'm working with that professor. And that professor has put people in the business because if you struggle to serve, you'll never struggle to earn in Ambit Energy. Understand building depth, and you'll never have to worry about not making money in Ambit, because that's what it's about. Duplication makes you millions. You look at Steve Thompson, you have 70 plus executives in your business. You look at Ray Monty, you look at their leaders run the business without them. And that's the key that you want to understand. So just to close out, and I didn't see my timer. I'm already over? Okay. And so $20,000 a month, what does it look like? Where do you stoke the fire? On the bottom. Don't try to sponsor everybody. You don't need to sponsor 1 million people. Always work from the bottom up. $20,000 a month. Continue to build your legs, and you always look at the bottom. Today, me and Shelly have thousands of consultants, but I'm always looking at that new person that got in. All the way down here, never met us. I had one consultant that I met in a meeting. She said, I didn't know I could call her. Why not? Well, you're in a magazine. I was like, well, look, can I call you? And that consultant is in Florida. She just moved to Florida from Baltimore. And, you know, just, it's incredible. Because she's many, many, many levels deep. But she's so fired up. She says, look, I understand we're not in Florida yet. But I got a whole network of people in New York, and New Jersey, and Baltimore. And so we're doing 3-way calls all the time. And I'm going to go work with those people under her because she's in Florida, so she can't train, but I can go work with them for her because of the struggle. but never struggle to be profitable. And so, as long as I continue to say this, and if you guys don't leave with anything else from me, drive depth. Learn how to work depth in your business. And when you start doing it, I want you to really think about this. Is that because your business, the goal in our business is what? For it to work without us. If you're on the beaches of the world, and you say, I'm going to take a month off from Ambit, because that's on my vision board. I have a vision board, guys. There's a ticket that will take me around 7 continents, and it will take me about 70 days. And I'm not going to do Ambit for those 70 days. Because I want to travel the world. I want to take my wife, my son's about to go to college, he's a senior in high school, and we spent the whole summer traveling to school. He's being recruited as a Division I football prospect. But I got to spend the summer going to the top football colleges, and didn't have to answer to anybody. It was great. But Ambit continued to put a check in our bank account on the 15th of every month. And so, I got to tell you, it's because of driving depth. And as I close out, doing EC, you do the same thing over and over again. It's not rocket science. As you go EC, Shelly and I went regional in a little over 2 weeks, and 8 weeks later, we went senior. And as we were growing the business, I did have a window where I thought I was smarter than the system. And after my frustration, because I know none of you do that, but I thought I was smarter because I'm going to call all my friends, and they're just going to get in because it's me. And after bumping my head enough, I said, this system is for anybody. I love young people who get into Ambit. I love the 19, 20, the 25-year-old, because you take the same thing and teach it to them and watch them execute on a system, and it works for anybody. And I have a retired vice president of a university. I get into my business, and I see her business exploding because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're retired. And I love what Shalom says. From jail to Yale, and it works. And that's the key. So $50,000 a month, the system is the same. Driving depth, say it with me, driving depth. Master driving depth, and your Ambit business will go to a whole different level. $100,000 a month. I dare you to try it. I dare you to try it. And Shelly and I, we're still babies. It's only 20 months for us in Ambit. 20 months. And for those of you here in New Jersey, I got to tell you, Shalom, Lamb, we got to meet on a 5-star trip. And we're, and him and his wife, Tina, it's just been incredible. But, when you build friendships in Ambit, how many times do you just build a friendship and then go build a business together? And we're here because he's an incredible gentleman. And, we're going to be back here. We're going to be working together. Because I want to come back here and I want to see executive consultants come out of New Jersey and New York and continue to grow. And bottom line is that I'm nothing special. I'm a kid that grew up in the projects of Baltimore that believed that working hard was the only way. 10 to 12 hours, going to school, getting the degrees and everything else. I thought that was the only way, but guess what? I watched friends of mine in Maryland whose companies just went to nothing over the last 5 years. I've seen homes where people made 6-figure incomes, where the husband got laid off after 18 years with a company. If you don't believe the rules have changed, wake up. Yes. And I want you guys to know, they're not going to go back. You better learn how to adjust. And I want you to think about that, because sometimes we get into this thing called normalcy bias where we hope things don't change. My thing is that I'm not going to be a victim hoping things won't change. They're changing. Ambit Energy is an incredible, incredible business in a time of change, because a commodity that people are going to pay, even if they pay it with their unemployment check. I want you to think about that. A commodity-based business, not dependent on Wall Street or Capitol Hill. That's the business we're in. And I want to congratulate each one of you for making that choice to get into this business. Follow the proven business systems, go executive, help people achieve their American dream. Our dream, bottom line, is just time freedom. But I like nice things. So, We need to make some money too. So, our next goal, and I'll announce it out loud. We say write your goals down. My goal is to be a top income earner in the next 12 months and to go national consultant in the next 24 months. That's my goal. I have goals just like you. And I just want to thank you guys because this training doesn't happen without you. And I love serving. If you have people in Maryland, we have a training center in Maryland. We're going to give everybody an address. We support so many different consultants from so many different teams. Bottom line is that if you have people in Maryland, feel free, have them come through. And we love supporting people. We love showing people how to grow because we believe that Ambit Energy is truly, truly a new way of life for us. A new way of life for each one of you. And so I want to thank you very much and continue to drive depth and build your business. Thanks a lot, everybody. Today, I love him. We have spent some time together over the last few weeks because Ambition is coming. You guys hear about that? Yeah. I got to tell you guys, he is. We spent the whole day together talking about some things we're going to do here in New Jersey. I'm talking 8 hours, locked in the room. Me, him, and Phil Moser locked in the room saying, okay, guys, what do we need to do to really charge New Jersey, get prepared for what's going to happen after Ambition? He is on a 5-star trip. I got to spend so much quality time with him. And, he's going to talk about something that I'm very passionate about. But just watching him and how he does things, I believe someone's life speaks when you watch them, not in what they say. And so I have the pleasure of bringing up 5-Star Club Trip Award winner and executive consultant, Salome Lane.
Great or what? I have met some unbelievable people in Ambit Energy I never would have met in a million years. And I am very, very, very proud to call Julius and Shelley and Phil my dear, dear friends, and it's wonderful. Thank you very much. Really, that's great. So Julius just said something that I wrote down. I wrote it down 3 times, actually, because I was afraid he was going to steal my speech. He said, struggle to serve. Struggle to serve. I'd like to give you a real-life example of service. And it's a little stupid thing, but I want to tell you about it because it's actually exactly emblematic of what I want to talk about. Ma'am, what is your name? Yes. Sophia. So at the break, Sophia went over to me and my wife. I have no idea who this woman is. She went over and she said, do you know where we could get some coffee? And I just said, I don't know, but boy, I wish I could get some coffee too. End of conversation. 10 minutes later, I'm sitting down with my wife. Sophia shows up with a coffee in her hand, and I'm saying, oh, I wish you would have gotten me one. And guess what? She had 2 extra cups of coffee for me and my wife. That is a perfect example of servant leadership. She wanted nothing from us. She wanted us to be comfortable. And I'm very appreciative. I don't know who you are, but I'm so appreciative. And it's a perfect example of what I'm going to talk about. Julius and Phil spoke about very specific things, very concrete, very specific things. But we promised a no-fluff training. So I have to figure out how to take what is really so important, but a little bit fluffy, and turn it into practical. And the fluffy is how to change your mindset. Because what's going to make you rich in Ambit Energy is not dragging dead bodies across the line. When someone's dead, as Norbert says, right, you can't resurrect a dead one. Forget it. What's going to make your business scream is by picking out, finding leaders, becoming a servant to those people, and you will be a leader. There's 2 different models of leadership, and that's what I want to talk about today. The mindset of a true leader. Forget this, forget the picture. Let's go. By the way, does everybody like this venue? Is this a good place? Yeah. Okay. I want to tell you that, when we sat down together, we had a goal of how many people we minimally want. It was 75. We've got 116. Congratulations to all of you who are here today. rise in life and in Ambit, but they get promoted in life and in Ambit also. And I want to show you how to get promoted by being a true leader. Let's define what that means. There are two different models of being a leader. One is a bully. And we all know people like that. Probably most of us work for people like that. Okay? And the other one is what we're going to call genuine leadership. Let's see what it means. Now, to be a servant doesn't mean you're passive. Doesn't mean you're a patsy. Both can be called to fierce action. And let me give you a good example. First, let's go with the bully. Let's talk about the bully. Any drug dealer is a bully. A vicious bully. Right? Drug dealer destroys people for self-aggrandizement. Does it for himself, his own wealth. Who's he concerned with? His own power. His own temporary wealth. Lives for the moment. Okay, he can be called to fierce action. We know it. Just go to Mexico. Okay? But now let's talk about the servant. Let's talk about Moses. Let's talk about a biblical example. We can come up with hundreds of examples. But let's go to a real one that speaks to me. A very poignant example. Moses was a person who was an Israelite, was a Jew, but was brought up in the house of Pharaoh. Just for those who need a refresher on the story. He had no connection to the slaves he was seeing. Didn't realize he was a Jew. Didn't realize he was an Israelite. And he walks out one day, and he's watching the pyramids being built, and he sees an overseer striking a slave. Well, he had no connection to that man. But it hurt him. He was, in his essence, he was a servant of the victim. And he provided huge leadership. He went over, looked right, saw nobody was looking, and he killed the overseer. And then had to flee for his life. But he was a servant who was called to fierce action and ended up being the greatest leader in history. You can be a servant and be a true leader, Moses. Now, the power model is all about gravity. If all you're interested in about power, let me tell you, you will fail in Ambit energy. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because you're going to abuse this person, abuse that person. Oh, let me get 3 people here, let me get 3 people here. And then it's going to have no lasting value. We're all about duplication. We're all about duplicating to death. We've heard it here brilliantly by Julius and Phil. Fantastic. So if the model is power, it's destined to fail. You'll have this big spurt. We'll all go, wow, how did he do that? And then it'll just come crashing down. The servant model, is about giving. It's about giving to others. It's about going down to depths of 3 and giving that person your knowledge, giving of yourself. Now, why is that powerful? It's powerful because it's duplicable. I can show you how to do it. I can train you. I can mentor you. And part of my mentoring is going to help you mentor others. That's duplication. Now, aside from the fact that it's a beautiful thing, giving, we all recognize it as noble. It's also very powerful economically. So let's talk about the power model versus the servant model. And I want you to know, I'm not making this stuff up. I took this right out of 2 classic books. Classics. One is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And he writes this, not in his abusive book. This is a man who I think is evil. Evil. Who tries to convince executives how to run an effective business. Go get the book and see if it doesn't make you ill. The alternative is The Servant as Leader by Robert Greenleaf. And see which model appeals to you. See which one is a life that you want to live and grow your business around. Let's do, we're going to do power. The operating question of the power model is, how do I get power? The other one is, what do people need? That's a servant model. I want to know what in your life do you need, and how can my Ambit energy business provide that for you? Which is more effective? Let's do another one. How can I make people do things? That's the power model. The servant model, how can I help people do things? If I am helping you do something that you want to do, you just don't know how to do it, I will give you those tools. That's power. Let's talk about it. I'm taking right out of the book. See if this doesn't make you ill. The power model talks about the beauty of deceit, the beauty of cunning, the beauty of treachery, how to use treachery effectively, how to use conquest, and make it part of your personality. The man says this with pride. Pride. The servant model, identify and meet the needs of others. I tell you, you can accomplish a lot of things through deceit, cunning, treachery, and conquest. They will last as long as the next person comes along to knock you off. But if I identify and meet the needs of others, I create a coterie, a group of people around me who want to succeed, who want to work together. And there's power in those numbers. I want to have enthusiasm, not deceit, genuine enthusiasm. I want to listen. I want to know what your motivation is. And I really, genuinely want to know what your motivation is. Because if I can tailor your Ambit Energy business to what it is that motivates you, that keeps you focused, at the end of the day, I am being a leader. I will benefit. But here's the beauty, so will you. It's a beautiful thing. Love. Sounds corny, doesn't it? It sounds corny. I will tell you, when I see a person who I know could be a leader, who I know is hurting, who I know is not in control of their lives, but they are wonderful, good people. I love, and I mean genuinely, love that person, and my heart aches. I want to see them succeed. Can anybody identify with that? Yeah. I want to see them succeed. It hurts me when they're not successful yet, and we'll work together to make sure it happens. Let's go to some other operating modules. Hide intentions, the power model. Hide intentions. Don't let them know what your true intention is. Grab credit from others. Isn't that great? Grab credit. I'm telling you, the man is writing this book as a model for how to achieve power in the 21st century. Man is evil. Keep people dangling. I'm telling you, it's right out of the book. Pretend to be a friend. Do we all know people like this? Exploit and control people. Let's go look at the percentage. And above all is personal gain. My only one value at the end of the day, what's in it for me? Does this remind you of a drug dealer? There are plenty of people in business who live by these rules. Now let's go with the servant model. Delight in others' success. Remember what Phil said, what Julia said. You go down to the bottom, you go stoke that fire. You are going down and finding people, finding Mark, finding Ed, finding all these people, and you delight in their success. Truthfulness. There is no reason to exaggerate in Ambit Energy. It's unnecessary. I tell everybody who gets into this business, the income in the beginning is low and slow. It is. Anybody who tells you, hang up your shingle and you're making $10,000 a month the first week is a liar. And there's no reason for it. The potential in Ambit Energy is enormous. It's incalculable. It's enormous. I pinch myself all the time. I was lucky enough, after 2.5 years of rejecting it, a different story, lucky enough to finally get into this business. It is unlimited how far this can go. There's no reason to exaggerate. Selflessness. I'm sorry, I already forgot your name, Mr. Selflessness. What is your name? Sophia. Selflessness. She didn't come in and say, oh, that'll be $4, please. She didn't come in and say, she didn't call me and say, do you really want some? She just did it. That was an amazing, small, but really moving, selfless act. And it was magnificent. And this is a person, I don't know what you're up to in Ambit Energy, but you're going to be a superstar. I guarantee it. She just blew me a kiss. The bottom line is personal gain. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get ahead. Don't misunderstand me. I am all for getting ahead. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But it's by helping others reach their potential. Does anybody here identify with being a servant leader, wanting desperately to help other people? If you do, please raise your hand. Does that appeal to you? Wonderful. Now, in your Ambit Energy business, we go from marketing consultant to regional consultant. It's really a very simple thing to do. Julie's did a brilliant job showing you go 6 wide. It makes so much more sense. It's profit. Absolutely. Gather some marketing consultants. You're not thinking then on a global level, nor should you be. You're just starting out. And then you go from RC to SC. You go from RC to SC, gather some more marketing consultants, begin helping others. You begin learning the process of mentoring. But now let's take a big leap when we're going from SC to EC. Well, now you're serving your team to develop others' potential. and you build a solid team approach. What does that mean? Let's expand on that a little bit. So let's go and talk about that, because everybody in this room, I presume, would like to get to SC, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, everyone would like to get there, good. Well, here's how you're going to do it. Once you have a team, once you're beginning to develop that team, you're going to serve them. If you're a bully, if you're a power bully, you're going to fail. Everyone's going to see through this treachery, through the deceit in no time. You may have a little bit of a rise, a little bit of a blip, that's okay. But when you serve your team to develop each other's potential, guess what's going to happen? You're going to hit the multiplier effect. What is the multiplier effect? Now, I've got a master's degree in military history. And one of the neat things about that, other than the fact that it makes you completely unemployable, is you learn things. You learn really neat things. And one of the things you learn is the use of special forces. And I really shouldn't be talking because I was never in special forces, unlike Phil Mosier actually was. So he's the one who should be giving this lesson. But I can tell you the theory, he can tell you the practice. The theory is, if you can take a cadre of very well-trained, very smart, very motivated leaders and push them out to someone else. So for instance, if you're in Iraq as an example, and you have a tribe, and that tribe is a bunch of sort of ancient warriors, but you can put into that 2 or 3 really smart, really well-trained, really empathetic Americans. You can take that tribe of 100 warriors, and now you're not 3 Americans, you're 103 warriors. And that's what the multiplier effect is. You're going to go and you have a bit of a team, and you're going to identify those leaders. You're going to identify them and focus on them. And you are going to serve them. You're going to serve their group. Because what happens is in Ambit Energy, let's understand how leverage works. There's a multiplier effect. If we go down and you're down in depth in my team, which you are, and you all of a sudden, I see that potential, I see that enthusiasm, I see that desire, and we've identified it. And I serve your needs as you grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. 2 people get paid, you and me. And I'm going to build a big business, a multiplier effect by serving him. And I will do it with love. Now, let's talk about some practical things. Thinking about your role. Your role is not to power grab. Your role is to understand the needs of each person coming into business and help each person reach their dreams. So, although it takes a little time to call a new consultant who just joined your business and say, hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Shalom Lamb, executive consultant, blah, blah, blah. We don't know each other. I'm so delighted you're in my team. Tell me about yourself. As Phil said before about cold calls, people want to be asked about themselves. It's polite. It's nice. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. 2 things. If you do, I'll tell you about yourself. That's a little rough. But if I really am interested in where people are in life, what they're coming to, what their dreams are, it shows. Show it. Show it. Love people. Love the people who are in your group. Now, I want to discuss 6 principles of leadership. Number 1, leadership is not about controlling people. It's about caring for people and being a useful resource. And what you're doing by coming to a training like this, unlike other people, is you are learning things that I am absolutely positive. You learned things today that you did not know coming in this morning. And therefore, you can now share that. Number 2, leadership is not about being the boss. It's about being present for people in a community, building a community at work. Number 3, leadership is not about holding on to territory. It's about letting go of ego and letting your spirit do the work. If I can go to anybody here, and not talk about myself endlessly, but find out what can I do to help you? What can I do to bring you along with me? That's what this is all about. Leadership is not about pep talks. There's a place for pep talks, but it's about helping people find profound meaning in their work. And hold on to that thought, folks, because that's where I'm going next. Leaders do not hold people down. That's what abusers do. We have all worked for people who just wanted to kick you in the teeth and found great joy in that. They lift them up and champion their success. When somebody promotes in your organization, write them a letter, give them a phone call, send them a book. Do something that lets them know that you are happy, delighted about their success, delight in other people's success. And leadership requires love. I can't say it enough. Increase your capacity to love all people. I'm going to violate a confidence right now, and I think Phil and Julius are probably going to run for the doors as soon as I say this. But we had the funniest conversation when we were in Philly the other day. Julius is about to crawl under the chair, I'm telling you. We said, you know what, guys? Here comes Phil running in. Phil, I'm going to duck as soon as I say this. Now, many of you don't know that Phil was born in France. Okay? He's a Frenchman. So we're going to say, hey, we've got this group together. The reason we joined together, we have no financial connection. The reason we joined together is because we saw Ambit Energy through the same lens. They said, hey, what are we going to call our little group here? So we decided to call it...
Do it. Come on.
FB&J Associates. Anybody want to figure out what that is? The Frenchman, the black guy, and the Jew. It was hilarious. We all couldn't get up off the floor laughing. And we did it with love. We thought, this is the craziest thing. We are from 3 entirely different backgrounds. And we love each other. And we celebrated. We thought, this is great. Who needs to talk about love? We did it. And that's why we're here today. And I just think it's wonderful. So I'm being told by Joanne that I got to end, so let me end with the following ideas. And Ambit Energy is the perfect model for servant leadership. Let me tell you what it means to your business. There are 2 motivations that I have, and I know this applies to everybody, but I want to tell you about my 2 motivations. Number 1 is the money. It's not nice to say money, 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 private. It's the money! Yeah. Money! But let me tell you something important. I want to expand your horizons. If your whole goal with the money is to buy a brighter, better red car, then you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Let me change your thinking a little bit. Of all, I don't care whether you're a religious person or not a religious person, I'm doing it in my tone, which is a religious tone. Of all of creation, God gave us the ability, of all of creation, didn't give it to cows. Cows know one thing, it's to eat and give milk and defecate. Right? Worms only know one thing, cockroaches know only one thing, birds only know one thing. We have the ability to be noble. Of all of God's creatures, right, we have the ability to be noble. This is a gift. It's a gift. So if your whole goal is to get a red car, you missed it. You missed your whole reason for existence. Yes, we want financial security. Yes, we want to provide for our children. But get a bigger goal. I want to help those who are less fortunate than me. I want to give to trying to say is become deserving of the right to be called a human being and let it motivate you. Second thing is change people's lives. All right, I love this little photo here. Change people's lives. Let everybody become a Superman. There's a beautiful thing when you can go to a person who has not been successful and you can show them and mentor them and you can see them grow as a person. And you can see them take on a leadership role. There is no bigger high in the world than that. There just isn't. You can take a person who's hurting and you can give them a Band-Aid, or you can show them how to heal themselves and then heal others. Which is the better model? The second one is the servant one. The first one is easy. Become a servant. Here's what you can do in your Ambit business. Number 1, and we're not talking practical. Number 1, genuinely welcome people to a meeting. It sounds so simple. It sounds so simple. Stand outside the beginning of a meeting and welcome them in. Smile and welcome them in. Number 2, help them cover their why. This is a hard process. Most people want money. Go deeper. Go deeper. Number 3, spend time with a new consultant. This is what Julius was talking about. It is so important. So important. Number 3, mentoring and training. First get yourself trained and then help others. Next, 3-way calls. Learn how to do them, learn how to use them. Okay? It's part of I do 3-way calls, God knows, for a gazillion of them. And I do it for people who are not in my downline, and that's fine. It's fine. We've only got so many hours in a day. Find somebody in your organization if you can. But if you can't, for crying out loud, call me. I want to help you. I don't care if you're not in my downline. It makes us noble. It's okay. Next, delight in other people's success, but really delight in it. I mean, really delight in it. And last, none of us can go it alone. We are a team. None of us can go it alone. So I'd like to leave you with a thought, and I think it's a profound thought. It's a little pithy statement, but I love people and use things, not the other way around. That is servant leadership. How can I help you?